On the News Express today, ICPC partners need data to combat corruption. Castle workers lament unpaid salaries 3 years after employment. Supreme Court to rule if Trump can rule for president. And Nigerian banks, fintechs to launch CNGN stablecoin February 27th. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Express on Global Television, live in the nation's capital. I am Chidinma Jerasin. Thanks for joining us. We'll start from the State House, where President Bola Tinubu has tasked the nation's security chiefs to ensure that there is conclusive victory against the myriad of security threats assailing the country. Addressing security helmsmen and heads of intelligence agencies during a presidential security briefing at the State House, Abuja, President Tinubu said while good progress has been made with the elimination of some security threats across multiple theaters, success would ultimately be defined by a final conclusion to the multidimensional menace. The president emphasized that the armed forces must deliver on his objective to ensure the nation achieves a sustainable production of 2 million barrels of crude oil per day, including condensates within the first quarter of 2024. Away from the State House, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has appointed Commandant Ahmed Abiodun as the new head of the National Safe Schools Response Coordination Center, NSSRCC. Commandant General of the agency, Ahmed Audi, made the appointment replacing the former commandant of the center, Tasu Shapa, who has been redeployed. In a statement by the Public Relations Officer, PRO of the Corps, Babawale Afolabi stated that Abiodun is a trained and accomplished journalist before he joined the NSCDC as a volunteer in 1994 and rose through the ranks. Federal civil servants confirmed the receipt of their October 2023 wage awards, months after a temporary suspension of payment. Recall that the payment of 35,000 wage award was an agreement reached between the federal government and the organized labor as part of the move to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol. President Bola Tinubu had declared during the Independence Day speech that low-grade workers in the federal civil service would be awarded a wage of 25,000 naira. The amount was then increased to 35,000 naira following discussions with the organized labor unions. Some academic and non-academic staff members of the Kaduna State University has decried the non-payment of their salaries. The workers said they had yet to receive any salaries since they were employed 3 years ago, as they were excluded from the state's payroll. According to them, this was mainly because of the university's inability to be financially autonomous following the integration of the university under the office of the State House of Service during the administration of a former governor of the state, Nasir El-Rufai. Some of the employees stated that they had also been denied access to the state's health insurance scheme, as newly employed workers could not be enrolled in the scheme without their printed monthly pay slips. And now to the financial sector. A consortium of Nigerian financial institutions, fintech and blockchain experts, the Africa Stablecoin Consortium, is set to launch a complaint Nigerian Naira stablecoin on February 27, 2024. The consortium, in a statement issued on Friday, said the launch of the CNGN is hinged on the new regulatory sandbox released by the Central Bank of Nigeria. According to the consortium, the CNGN stablecoin would revolutionize financial transactions. Through the project, the consortium project said it is committed to enhancing secure and compliant financial interactions, revolutionizing the way people transact and engage with their money securely and seamlessly. The chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission is leading the partnership with the National Information Technology Development Agency to combat corruption and illicit financial flows with the use of technology. The ICPC chairman Musa Aliyu led a crucial meeting with the leadership of NITDA emphasizing the inclusion and integration of innovative technology in the fight against corruption and mapping areas of deployment of such technologies. The meeting also entailed discussions on forming a joint committee symbolizing an ongoing collaboration between ICPC and NITDA, which underscores the commitment to digital transformation as a constant process crucial for a proactive approach in the fight against corruption in the state. And now over to Ogun State. No fewer than 9 Ogun communities are currently experiencing power outage due to the drop in power generation from the Igbim power station. The Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company announced this on its social media handles late on Thursday night. According to the IBEDC Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital is one of the areas affected by the Igbim power generation drop. The distribution company said its technical team was working with relevant stakeholders to ensure the restoration of the power supply, even as it apologized for the inconveniences. Away from Ogun State, Switchshift, a military manufacturing company based in the United States of America, has donated 2 high-tech unnamed water vessels to the Nigerian government. The equipment is S2 and S3 Swift Sea Stalkers. The company donated during a recent visit by the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawali. According to a statement on Friday by the ministry's Director of Press, Henshaw Ogubike, the minister had gone to the USA to inspect the facilities of high-tech military producing hardware companies in the country. Presenting the unnamed vessels to President Bola Tinubu, the minister noted that the equipment would help to protect the maritime environment of the country as well as other areas. He stated that the equipment would be deployed to the Niger Delta, Lake Chad region and other maritime regions of the country. You're watching News Express live from Nigeria's capital in Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the News Express returns, federal government begins payment of October 2023 wage award. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. If you're just joining us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. Thank you for staying with us. And now on the foreign scene, no fewer than 1,110 people have been reported dead 5 days after a huge earthquake struck central Japan. Rescuers and residents shifted through rubble on Saturday as the focus turned to recovering bodies and cleaning up rather than finding survivors. The death toll from the New Year Day's 7.5 magnitude quake in the Ishikawa region of Japan's main Honshu island was certain to rise, with 210 people still unaccounted for, authorities had said. The work of thousands of rescue workers has been hampered by bad weather. Snow was forecast for Sunday and roads were torn apart by gaping cracks and blocked by an estimated 1,000 landslide. And now to the USA. The United States Supreme Court has said it will hear a historic case to determine if Donald Trump can run for president. The justices agreed to take up Trump's appeal against a decision by Colorado to remove him from the 2024 ballot in the state. The case will be heard in February and the ruling will apply nationwide. Lawsuits in a number of states are seeking to disqualify Trump, arguing that he engaged in insurrection during the U.S. Capitol riots 3 years ago. The legal challenges hinge on whether a Civil War-era constitutional amendment rather rendered Trump ineligible to stand as a candidate. The Supreme Court's decision to hear Trump's appeal came after attorney generals from 27 states filed a brief asking the court to reject Colorado's ruling. The site of one of the most important monuments in classical antiquity, the palace where Alexander the Great was crowned king, has reopened after a 16-year restoration. The Palace of Aigai near Greece's northern port city of Thessaloniki was built more than 2,300 years ago. It was later destroyed by the Romans and unearthed through excavations beginning in the 19th century. Its renovation cost more than €20 million with help from the EU. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, who attended a ceremony for the site's reopening on Friday, described it as a monument of global importance. In other story, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back to the Middle East on his fourth trip since the Israel-Hamas war began, expecting tough talks as he presses for immediate new aid for battered Gaza and regional de-escalation. The department says the top American diplomat will visit both Israel and the West Bank, home of the Palestinian Authority, and 5 Arab countries that include Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Blinken departed late Thursday bound first for Turkey, an uneasy U.S. ally that is the home of key Hamas leaders, despite being one of the few Muslim-majority countries to recognize Israel, followed by Greece. He will discuss immediate measures to increase substantially humanitarian assistance to Gaza, where the World Health Organization has warned of the risk of famine and diseases. And on a sad note, a teenager armed with a handgun and shotgun killed a fellow student and wounded 5 other people at a high school in the Midwestern U.S. state of Iowa on Thursday, authorities had said. The shooting at around 7:30 a.m. triggered a major police response as emergency vehicles and armed units rushed to Perry High School, where classes had not yet started for the day.
All of our condolences to the victims and their families. They need your thoughts and prayers, as well as time and space to process and to grieve.
The victim who died was in 6th grade, meaning he's around age 11 or 12, and was likely in the high school for a breakfast program, said Mitch Modvit, Assistant Director of the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation.
Our hearts are heavy today, and our prayers are with the Perry community. This strikes at the heart of everything that we hold dear. This senseless tragedy has shaken our entire state to the core, and I want this community to know that every Iowan stands with you.
Economic situation and prospects. West report of 2024 projects slowdown in global growth from an estimated 2.7% in 2023 to 2.4% in 2024. The flagship forecast launched in New York indicates that 2023 stronger than expected GDP growth coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic masks short-term risks and structural vulnerabilities in the world economy. The somber short-term outlook is based on persistently high interest rates, further escalation of conflicts, sluggish international trade, and increasing climate disasters, which all pose significant challenges to global growth. It points to a prolonged period of tighter credit conditions and higher borrowing costs, presenting strong headwinds for a world economy saddled with debt and in need of more investment to resuscitate growth, fight climate change, and accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. And now in business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has received the 5th crude oil shipment of 1 million barrels of Bonny Light supplied by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPC. The company is already preparing to welcome the sixth 1 million crude oil cargo to the refinery by next week. This latest development is a significant step for the refinery as it is preparing to begin operations. The crude oil cargo being the fifth consignment to be delivered to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery facility out of the 6 million barrels of crude being expected arrived at the Single Point Marine SPM C2 Dangote Offshore Oil Terminal and has already been discharged to the refinery's crude oil tanks. Still on business news, Naira further gained against the dollar at the official market, marking the second gain in the new year. The domestic currency appreciated 3% to close at 869.13 Naira to a dollar at the close of business. Data from the NAFEM, where Forex is officially traded, showed. This represents a 26.1 Naira gain, that is 3% increase in the local currency compared to the 895.23 Naira closed the previous day. However, the Naira dropped at the parallel Forex market, where Forex is sold unofficially. The exchange rate quoted at 1,255 Naira per $1, representing a 1.99% decline over what it closed the previous day, while peer-to-peer traders quoted around 1,231.70 Naira per $. The dollar death means speculative buying is likely to continue, with an increasing number of market participants taking long positions on the dollar while shorting the Naira. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, carried out a scrutiny of Dangote Group's financial records as part of an investigation into potential misappropriation of foreign currency obtained from the central bank. During the tenure of the former Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) Governor Godwin Emefiele, the bank employed various exchange rates and provided dollars at low rates to certain businesses, including Dangote, facilitating their importation of raw materials. There was no immediate response from a Dangote spokesperson to request for comment. Meanwhile, the NNPCL has stated that a test run on the 60,000 barrel per day BDP refinery in Port Harcourt will be completed this month ahead of the full resumption of work later in the month. The spokesperson from the NNPCL, Femi Sonere, has made known in a statement, according to him, testing will conclude shortly, ensuring the refinery's efficient operation, and the phase will be completed this month, adding that the refinery, currently undergoing repair works, is set to commence operations at an initial processing rate of 60,000 barrels per day. However, the CEO of the NNPCL stated that the second phase of repair works of the Port Harcourt refinery will be completed by the fourth quarter of 2024. While anticipating to achieve its maximum capacity of 210 barrels per day later in the year. And now in sports news, Brazilian football legend and the first person to win the FIFA World Cup as both a player and coach, Mario Zagallo, has died at the age of 92. Zagallo was as instrumental figure as any in Brazil's rise to prominence as a global football power. Zagallo, who died on Friday, was the only surviving member of the Brazilian team that lifted the 1958 World Cup trophy, the country's first title and one that eased the pain of a traumatic defeat by Uruguay at the Maracanã 8 years prior. While that memory remained vivid, Zagallo would do his utmost to relieve the anguish by leaving his fingerprint on 4 of Brazil's 5 World Cup triumphs. And still on sports, Nigerian midfielder Wilfred Ndidi will be out of action for at least 3 months due to a muscle injury, according to Leicester City coach Enzo Maresca. It will take a long time before he fully recovers. The 27-year-old midfielder, who missed the Foxes championship win over Huddersfield on New Year's Day, was also withdrawn from Nigeria's African Cup of Nations squad and has since been replaced by Al-Hassan Yusuf in the squad. He is expected to miss 15 of the Foxes' remaining 20 league games this season. Ndidi has been a consistent performer for the Foxes this season, making 24 appearances in all competitions, scoring 4 goals and providing 6 assists. And as we end the News Express, let's take a quick look at some of our top stories. ICPC has partnered with NITDA to combat corruption. Castle workers lament unpaid salaries 3 years after employment. And Supreme Court to rule if Trump can rule as president. Nigerian banks, fintechs will launch CNGN stablecoin on February 27th. And that's it on the News Express. And it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Chidimma Jarasin, thanking you for watching. I'll see you again.